comes crashing down, I have the authority. Jesus has given me. When I open up my mouth, miracles start breaking out. I have the authority. Jesus has given me. When I lift my voice and shout, every wall comes crashing down. I have the authority. Jesus has given me. When I open up my mouth, miracles start breaking out. I have the authority. Jesus has given me. You are my champion. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you won. I am who you say I am. You crown me with confidence. I am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated. By the power of your name, I am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered it all. Let's sing it again. Oh yes, you are my champion. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you've won. I am who you say I am. You crown me with confidence. I'm seated in the heavenly place, undefeated. By the power of your name, I am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered it all. Do you get that this morning, that we are seated in heavenly places with our Father, the one who has conquered all of it? On his behalf today, let's give him everything that we are today. Don't hold anything back. All on the altar, surrendered again. Freely I lay down my everything. This is my honor, the gift that I bring, and I will be a living sacrifice, all my heart and soul to glorify. I offer nothing less than all my life for Jesus Christ. I just want to bless you. Whatever it takes, with my mind and my body, oh, my spirit and strength. Yes. God, if you are a fire, then set me ablaze, and I will be a living sacrifice. soul to glorify. I offer nothing less than all my life for Jesus Christ. How could I offer him anything less than all my life? This morning I give him all of my worship, all of my praise. It all goes to him. Oh, and I'll give you all of my worship. Fall fire, fall, come consume it. I'll give you all of my worship. Fall fire, fall, and I will be a living sacrifice. All my heart and soul to glorify. I offer nothing less than all my life for Jesus Christ. I give it all to you. I give you everything, Lord. I give you all, Jesus. Yes. And I will be a living sacrifice. All my heart and soul to glorify. I offer nothing less than all my life for Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Jesus. Give it up for Jesus. Amen. Yes. You can all be seated today. Welcome, Community Circle Church. Man, it is so good to see everybody today. We got a packed house today. We got a packed, not house. We got a packed church today. Because between 11 and 12, this is church. This is not a house, right? So we got a packed church today. I love it. Love seeing everybody here. Elijah, I missed the mullet, but I'm glad you're here. I got a couple of announcements for everybody today. Are we ready?
Yes.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, I think we're ready. I heard everybody. So, today, new message series. Does everybody remember? Don't look at your bulletin. I'm hiding mine. Does everybody remember what today's message series is going to be? Say it again.
Alter ego.
Alter ego! Woo! I'm excited. I am pumped for this message series. Pastor Steve is going to absolutely bring it like he always does. I know he is. Yeah, there we go. Someone's excited. That's all that matters. So, next week, we're going to have Youth Circle. I'm going to say it again. Next week, we're going to have Youth Circle. Bella, when are we going to have Youth Circle?
Next week.
Next week, we're going to have Youth Circle. We're going to be having it at mine and Emma's house. So, we're going to have a good time. We're going to, you know what? I'm going to surprise you. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do. I might tell you next week. I don't know. Are you excited?
Yeah.
You want to know?
Yeah.
Too bad. So, show up next week and you'll find out what we're going to do. Because we're going to have lots of fun. It's at 5 o'clock. If you do not know where me and Emma live, which I've hid it from all of you guys because I don't want spoons in my yard or, you know, all the crazy stuff that they do, the youth pastors always. I don't want none of that. But I'm actually going to tell you where I live. So get with me. We'll send it in our group chat. And also reach out to your friends, invite them. It's going to be a ton of fun. Baptisms. Does everybody remember the baptisms we had 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yes? We're going to have baptisms again. We're going to do it September 12th. In the bulletin, September 12th. We're doing it. It's going to happen. Because we feel, as a leadership core, that not everybody who wanted to get baptized got baptized. So we're going to open it up again and give everybody a chance. Again. So it's very rare that you get one chance in something great in life, but now you get 2 chances at something great in life within 4 weeks of each other. So take advantage. Do it. Do it. Also, there is your CC Church merch. Pastor Steve is going to talk more about it, but I just want to mention something. We have a link in our bulletin. So there's a link in our program. Sorry, if you look, it says get your merch now, and it has your link. Some of them do not have this. They all have it now. Okay, make sure when you are typing this, this is very, very important, or else your merch will not show up on your phone. You do have to type HTTPS://. So HTTPS://. You have to type that. And so here is Pastor Steve. Those are all my announcements with the rest of merch.
Text to you.
Good morning. Morning. How's everybody? Good. All right. Hey, you guys look good. And for those of you that are like over 35, merch, that's merchandise. Okay? I know I'm always having to explain stuff that, from the 80s and 90s to the young kids. For all of those of you that are past the young people's age, merch is merchandise, okay? It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense now. So here's what we did. And this is just a quick commercial. There's no video today. You get me. Sorry. Okay? Sorry. All right? But I've had several on the staff. I'm not going to give any up. But my wife and Emma, right? They have been on my back for months. We need to get t-shirts. We need church t-shirts. And I said, I know. And yes. And I've been dragging my feet. He said, why would you do that? Somebody asked me.
Why did you do that?
Thank you. Because I don't want to keep inventory here. I got nowhere to put it. So we found out a way to alleviate that problem. Okay? There's the link that is in your program. It's going to be on our social media sites after service is over. We designed it, and we put it on stuff. And then you order it directly from them, you pay them, and they ship it to you. I don't have to have anything here in my house or this church, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Right? So here's the thing, and here's what it basically comes down to. We want to be good stewards over what God's given us, right? And I don't feel like it's a good steward to wrap up a bunch of the church's money in stuff to sit on a shelf because I got a whole bunch of extra smalls and I got nothing but extra large people here. No offense. All right? You guys understand what I'm saying? Because no matter what I order, it's going to be the wrong size. Now you can order your own size. So I want to show you guys some of the stuff. Raul, come on up here. Caleb, Emma, come on up here. Okay. This is not Community Circle Church merch. Okay? But hey, what is this? This is one of the shirts you can get right here. This is one of the shirts. Now, this isn't everything. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Okay? This is the shirts. You got the stuff on the back. This one, we changed the color so you can see a little bit better. Okay, but this just gives you an idea. Is there anything on the back on this one? You got the logo on the back. We've got the sweatshirt. Hey, competition with Emma. Just for Raw, we designed Community Circle Church socks. All right? No way. There's for the ladies. There's leggings, and we got some of the stuff up here, Brandon.
Caleb.
Hey, this is a onesie. Where's Junior at? Caleb. Junior onesie. All right. Here's the socks. What else have we got? Okay, these are some of the shirts that you can get. Go ahead. Is there any more? And there's different There's different colors you can pick. It's whatever they have on there. Is that it, Brandon? Or is there another one? That's it. Okay. So you guys go to the site, get your stuff. We now have the stuff available, and I don't have to have a bunch of inventory that I end up having to give away because I can't find anybody to buy it or I bought all the wrong sizes. Okay. I know that we had our first purchase. It was from my daughter-in-law who lives up in Porterville. She bought 2 little shirts for my grandkids. So they're going to be sporting Community Circle Church merch. Oh, that rhymes, huh? I didn't even realize that. You guys can go sit down. Get out of here. So you can get your church merch, okay? I'm excited about it. I can't wait until I look out and I see everybody with Community Circle Church merch. All right? So there's all kinds of stuff. You can also get coffee mugs. Okay? We have stuff like this. Robin told me I can't give this stuff away because this is hers. But it's little water bottles. There's all kinds of stuff that you can put this on. Okay, so you just have to look through it, and they will send it directly to you. Now, we don't set the price, we just set the profit margin. We count it really low. We're not going to get rich on this. We did this so that you guys can get the stuff and get the shirts and the stuff that you want. That's why we did it. Anything that we do make is going to go to the youth department to help pay for camp and other stuff that they do. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, so check your program. It's got the link. It's going to be on social media. Hey, I want to see everybody once you get your stuff. Because, I mean, who's going to get your stuff? I mean, come on, yeah. As soon as you get your stuff, I want to see it on social media. Okay? I want you guys to post it. Now, look, let me just be real clear because I know the audience I'm talking to. I don't think we have it on there, but if you figure out a way to buy, like stuff you shouldn't be wearing, don't show that. Okay? You guys understand? If you get bedroom stuff, I don't want to see no boxers, you sporting boxers, with Community Circle Church on it on social media. Now, if you get it, great. But I don't want to see it. Okay? Is that fair? I'll make you a deal. I won't show you in my boxers if I don't see you in your boxers. Is that fair enough? All right? Okay, yeah. My wife's practically going, move on. Okay.
No Speedos.
Yes. No Speedos. No Speedos. Say no to the Speedo roll. Okay. So anyway, we did that so that you guys could get some of that and just show some church spirit. Is that all right with everybody? Yeah, right or not, we get it. Hey, one thing that Caleb did mention was our giving. Guys, be generous with your giving. Be faithful. Okay. How many of you guys can say God's been faithful to me? How many of you has God been faithful to you didn't deserve it? Yeah. So be faithful to God's house because this is how we can reach out and we can win the world around. How many of you guys want to see your neighbors come to Christ? I want to see my neighbors come to Christ so I can keep all my stuff. Because if they're following Christ, they're not stealing my stuff, right? So maybe we can get enough of them to come to Christ. They'll quit setting off these stupid fireworks, right? So we can hope, right? But we just started a series. I'm going to get into this. Alter ego. An altar is you spelled it wrong. No. I spelled it just the way it's supposed to be spelled. Altar. How many of you guys grew up in church? Now, look, I'm not talking about if you're under like 20, because you won't have really much of a concept. It's nothing against you. It's just not a thing anymore. But how many of you guys, you're over 20, 25, you grew up in church, and you knew what an altar was? You guys, they would have an altar call. How many of you guys ever heard of an altar call? Right? And that's not that you go to an altar and you start going, hey, altar! Altar! No, that's not an altar call, right? No, an altar call was at the end of the service, right? So, an altar was, how many of you guys have been in a service where the speaker would say, you guys just make yourself an altar and just spend a few minutes with God? I mean, you guys ever remember that? And what does that mean? Usually it means you just stood up, turned around, knelt down at your seat, and you prayed. Or if you were really holy, you came up front so everybody could see you, and you knelt at one of the benches up front, right? I mean, come on, let's be real. Okay? And if that was you, I don't know nothing, so don't get mad at me, okay? But we had these things, and they were altars. And we made those altars in the church. And the altar in the Old Testament was something where the believers, they would bring a burnt sacrifice. They would build an altar. They would build something so that they could lay that sacrifice, that lamb or that dove or whatever that sacrifice was, and they could burn it as an offering to God. They would lay something down before God. And that's kind of what the speaker would tell you to do, the pastor or the preacher. Hey, make yourself an altar. Lay yourself before God. Right? And so that's what we were doing. Now, how many of you guys know what an ego is? How many of you guys have an ego? Every guy should raise their hand, because the male ego is a dangerous thing sometimes, right? Don't attack the male ego. So our ego, that's who we think or we believe we are. Right? How many of you guys know people that they've got like an inflated ego of themselves? They just think they're all that. I see some people laughing, shaking their head, yes. Remember, just look straight ahead, no elbowing, no pointing, none of this. Okay, we're going to try and keep the fights to a minimum. No marriage counseling afterwards, okay? But we know people that have an ego. And you can tell, how many of you ever watch professional sports? You want to talk about egomaniacs. I mean, some of these guys, they think that they do no wrong. big egos. And here's the thing with our egos. Some of us, we think too highly of ourselves. And others maybe think too low of themselves. So you got two different parameters here, two different spectrums of the ego. So here's what we want to do, is we want to lay down our ego. Okay? And we want to lay down what we think of ourselves at the altar of God. So that we can not be what others think or what we think we are, but we can be who God knows we are. What a concept, huh? I don't have to be worried about what I think about me, because I love me. I'm a great person. You don't believe me? Just ask me. I'll tell you all about it. Right? And most of you probably feel the same way. Not about me, but about yourselves. Okay? And who knows? You may think I'm a great guy too. I mean, I think you probably should, right? But nothing wrong with my ego. Okay? Now, how many of you have ever compared yourself to somebody else or to like another family? Anybody ever compared anything? I remember playing baseball. It's like, man, how come I can't throw that hard? How come I can't hit the curveball? I hated the curveball. I could never hit the curveball. I'd probably be in the pros right now if I could hit a curveball. What are you laughing for? Wow. I mean, maybe a little exaggeration, but not to that. I mean, come on. Okay? But we've compared ourselves. Maybe you've compared your finances. Man, what do they do for a living? They can afford all of that. What in the... How do they get that? Anybody ever drive down over to the Central Coast, over to Pismo, that area, and look at some of those houses? It's like, now, what do these people do to be able to afford to live over here? How many of you guys have ever gone over there on vacation or whatever, and you see a house for sale, and you just go get the little flyer just to see how much the house is? Don't lie. Don't lie. I know you have, because I have. And then when I get back up off the ground after I faint, it's like, what do they do? What in the world do they do for a living that they can afford this? I couldn't even afford a bedroom in that house, right? What in the world do they do? And so maybe you never compared finances, but maybe you think to yourself, how is it that they have the family that's just perfect? They're always all together. The kids never backtalk. Everything is so good. They're always, dressed up and everything. They've just got the perfect family. Why can't I have that family like that? Anybody ever compare your family? I see a few people laughing, and maybe you're thinking, yeah, I know Steve and Robin. They've got the perfect marriage. They never fight. Everything's all good, right? No laughing. My wife back there. We're going to fight about that afterwards. So we don't fight. We just have intense conversations, right? So maybe you just think, man, how in the world do they keep it all together like that? What do they do? How in the world did they do that? Or maybe it's their careers, or I mean, just their marriages are wonderful. They've got so many different things that we can compare. And it's so easy to start feeling inadequate. And I think that's what we're going to talk about today, is the inadequacies. First of all, I need to learn how to pronounce inadequacies, okay? But we need to look at the inadequacies we start to feel, because we don't feel like we measure up. Anybody ever have that feeling? I just don't measure up. You may have said at one time or another, why can't I live like that? Why can't I have it like that? Why do they get to drive a Cadillac and I have to ride a bicycle? Right? Why is it that they get all this stuff and I don't? How do they do that? Now, those of you that grew up in church that knew what an altar was, how many of you guys, when you were in youth group, did you guys have youth group back then? I had a youth group. It was about 4 of us. It was huge. There was 4 of us that were consistently there. But did you guys ever have the super Christian kid? They knew all the answers. All the answers, right? The teacher would start to ask a question, they just start giving out the answer. And we figured out, because we were smart, there was 3 answers to every question in youth group. God, Jesus, peer pressure. Right? That was usually the answer. God, Jesus, peer pressure. Because it was one of those, usually. Okay? But the super Christian kid, their dad was the pastor or one of the elders in the church or something. They knew everything. They knew every verse in the Bible. They had it all down. They would pray prayers that would make God go, wow, that kid can pray. That's awesome, right? It's like, I didn't even realize I had given him that ability. How did he learn to talk to me like that? That's incredible. Did you guys know those kids? No? Just me? Okay. That's cool. Okay? And so these kids, they do these prayers, and they ask you to stand up and pray. And you're like, and your prayer probably sounds something like this. You know, you ask everybody to bow their heads and close their eyes, and you're just thinking, God, just give me the words, God. Just give me the words. And you say, Dear God, because you start off every prayer with Dear God, right? Dear God, like Allstate, I know I'm in good hands. God, you are just like a good neighbor, and you're good to the last drop. In Jesus' name, amen. Right? The last drop, that's Folgers. Okay. All right. It's easy to start to feel inadequate, right? It's really easy when you compare yourselves to find your deficiency because you feel inadequate. How many of you guys have ever said to yourself, I don't even know if I can say this in church, but you just said, I completely suck at being a Christian. I guess I just said it, so I guess I can't. You have that feeling, and I'm terrible at this, right? If you felt that way, you're my people, because I can relate. I can completely relate to how each and every one of you feel. always had to prove myself. Okay? The last church we went to, it wasn't easy. I felt a call to ministry. And I just kept feeling like, no, you're not ready. No, but I can prove it. No, you're not ready. I don't think maybe you're listening to God too well. Is that what they said? Maybe not in those words. That's how I felt. That's how I took it. I felt inadequate. I saw these guys get up there, and they had scripture memorized. I'm like, I didn't even know that was in the Bible, and you got it memorized? How did you do that? It's incredible to me. How in the world? I got guys, I heard a pastor one time, he went from Genesis all the way to Revelation and gave a description of how Jesus was in every book. And I thought, man, I didn't even know that there was that many books in the Bible. How did you do that? That was incredible. By memory. No notes. By memory. I felt inadequate about it. Okay? I've always felt like I've had to prove myself because I've never been good enough. I never measured up. Anybody feel that way? Yeah. It's that inadequacy that we feel. And here's the other problem that I have. And I can talk about it because they're not here today. My family's talented. I've got a very talented family. My dad, he can play the piano and he can sing. He says he can't play the piano more because of arthritis. I think he's lying. Okay? But he's very talented. Very talented. Used to lead praise and worship in churches that we attended when I was a teenager. My brother, very talented drum player. Very talented. And I remember because it took hours and hours and years for him to learn it in his bedroom, banging while we're trying to watch TV. It's like, would you please knock it off? He's very talented with the drum. My younger brother, one of the most gifted bass players you'll ever hear. Plays for a huge church out in Bakersfield. He can play the guitar too if he needed to. But bass, he's gifted at. My mom, who's in the back right now with all of our crumb crunchers back there, she can teach kids like nobody's business. She's been teaching since Moses was a little boy. Right? Yeah. She was my kids' church teacher when I was a kid. Like, oh my gosh. And some of the kids should look at me like, wow, you're old. Yeah, so, shut up, Bella. All right? Okay? She's talented. She can do that. She can keep their attention. And your kids can start acting up, and it doesn't faze her. It doesn't faze her. You know why? She had me for a son. She can do it all. Right? They're talented. I can't do any of what they're doing. If I start to sing with the radio in the car, my wife turns the radio off. You don't need to sing. I said, but I was just singing. She goes, no. Just let the people that write the song, let them sing. I said, but you were singing with, she goes, yeah, honey, but I can sing. I said, but I was singing from my heart. She goes, well, your heart can't sing either. No, I'm not playing. This isn't made up. This is history. It's happened. All right? I can't even clap and sing at the same time when we're doing praise and worship. I start clapping and I thought, oh, I got off beat, and I'm looking at everybody else clapping different. I'm either the only one that's right or everybody else, and I'm way off, right? And I don't sing too loud because I want the Spirit to flow. And I don't want everybody to go, what is that god-awful sound? Right? It's me! It's me! Okay? Now, add to the fact, now I'm a pastor. Talk about feeling inadequate. Okay? I'm going to be honest. Can I be honest? Good, because I don't want to lie to you guys. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I really don't. I don't feel like I'm good enough. There's times I wonder, I have no clue why you guys come back. I love you to death, but there's sometimes I'm like, why did they come back? I don't feel holy enough. I really don't. I've heard of people before they get to speak, they're praying and they're seeking God's face and they're just praying down and trying to get heaven to fall down. You know what I did before church started today? I checked to make sure my zipper was up like 12 times. That's how holy I am. Okay? And you guys are laughing, but it's true. All right? So yeah, I feel inadequate. I don't feel like I know enough. I don't have the Bible memorized. I don't have it memorized. Somebody asked me one day, hey, well, what do you think about this passage in the Bible? So where's it at? Well, you don't know? No, I don't know. I don't have it memorized. You know what it's inadequate. Yeah, I don't have it all together. Welcome to Community Circle Church. I don't have it all together. But I think that I'm in a crowd of people that can say, yeah, we can relate. Because there's times our life just falls apart. You know what I know? Here's what I know. I know God put me here to love people. And I'm hoping that's enough. And I'm hoping it's enough to love people to where other people come and say, hey, we just need a place where we can go and not be okay and be loved. Sometimes that doesn't feel like enough though, right? And so I started thinking, as I'm reading through some of this stuff with this, why do we feel inadequate? I think there's three reasons why we feel inadequate. Here, number one, we receive unfair criticism. All right? Okay, somewhere along the way, you were told you don't measure up, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not strong enough, you're too stupid, okay? You'll never figure it out. I wish I never had you. You're never going to amount to anything. Anybody ever heard any of that before? That's unfair criticism. You didn't deserve it. It's unfair. And if I can just be completely honest, I've never been told I wasn't pretty enough. It's never happened, okay? But there's some out there you have. You're made in God's image. You're made just the way God wanted you. God made you just the way He wanted you. Okay? But it doesn't help when you hear those messages playing over and over in your head. When my wife and I left our last church, we said, hey, we feel a calling to go to the Wasco Shafter area. We feel like God's called us there. And I was told by somebody who I held in very high regard, I think you misheard God. I don't think God's calling you anywhere. You don't think that's played back in my mind a few times? You don't think that's played back in my mind when we were having service at 2 o'clock and there was 6 people there and 4 of them had my last name? Yeah, maybe I missed it. Maybe he was right. Maybe I messed everything up and I wasted everybody's time. Anybody ever feel like that? My people. I can relate. Maybe I messed it all up. I felt like I was inadequate. I'm sure you felt the same way. That I can't do anything right. I'm incapable of doing anything. Okay? Number 2. We receive unrealistic compliments. You're the best. You're amazing. We went out to dinner last weekend. My son came down with his wife and my 2 grandkids. We went out to dinner and I took my grandson who's 4 years old. I took him to the bathroom and he held onto my hand tight all the way through the restaurant, bathroom, wash our hands, and we come back and he looks up at me and goes, "You're the best, Papa." Now I know he meant that. And he's right, I am the best Papa. But yeah. Alright? But some of us we get that stuff and inside we think to ourselves, I'm not that good. I'm not amazing. What are they thinking? Okay? And we've done this to a whole generation. We've over complimented a generation, and some of them, they don't know how to handle it. We've told them they're great at everything. You can be anything you want. Quit lying. You cannot. Okay, let's just be honest. You can't be anything you want. Okay? If you're 4 foot nothing, you are not going to play in the NBA. You're not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you're 89 pounds soaking wet, you are not going to play lineman for an NFL football team. Not even the Raiders. I had to get it in there, Raul. You brought the hat. Okay? But we told them this nonsense. You can be anything you want. It's a lie. Let's be honest. Hey, let's be honest. Some of our kids, they're going to go to prison. They're knuckleheads. Can we be honest, right? It's time that we set a straight path and we start being an example so that they don't in there. But some of them, the way they're going, oh, hey, you're doing good. Yeah. No, you're a thug. Knock it off. Quit being dumb. You know what happens to people like you? They go to jail. Some of our kids, they're going to excel and they're going to do great things. And I believe our kids here are going to do great things. Those kids back there, they're learning. They're going to be the teachers and the pastors and the evangelists for the next generation. That's why we invest in them. That's why we go to camp. Because we don't want them to be thugs. We don't want them to end up in prison. Well, they could start a prison ministry. Not that way, okay? Not that way. All right? But we love our kids, but we shouldn't oversell things to them. We should be honest with them, right? We should be... There are kids, I see them on social media, and I probably shouldn't say this. I'll probably get in trouble. You can email me at robin@communitycirclechurch.com. But I see parents, they're spending oodles, and if you don't know what oodles is, that means a lot, of money and time in an area for their kids that their kids have no talent in. Oh yeah, my kid's going to be the next. And then they show these kids, I'm thinking, that kid does not have talent. We should be honest. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Yeah, but they can be anything they want. No, they can't. No, they can't. Why am I going to waste my time trying to be a concert piano player when I can't play the piano? Let's be real. Maybe I should spend my time working on what I'm good at. Wouldn't that make more sense? Hey, just because mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, just because that was your dream, don't put it off on them and tell them they can do it when they don't have the talent or the heart for it. Don't live your life through them. That's going to make them feel inadequate, and that's something that they're going to deal with the rest of their life. Hey, find that thing that they have a drive for. Find that thing that they have a talent for, and push them in that. But not just because you lost out on the dream. Do you guys still love me? Okay, I'm getting some looks right now. I still love you guys, okay? All right? We told them they can do anything. We told them they can do everything. Everybody gets a trophy now. Nobody loses. I remember a day. You used to have to pass 12 grades to graduate. Now, you graduate kindergarten. I heard this, I went, say what? You graduated what? Kindergarten? So let me get this straight. You ate glue. You cut your friend's hair. And you colored outside of every line. And you graduated kindergarten? Congratulations. Good job. I just want to know, who doesn't graduate kindergarten? That's part of what our culture's done now. We over-compliment. You can do it. You're the greatest. Hey, let's get realistic. We need to watch it because they're going to fail at some point, and they're not going to know how to deal with it. They're not. You guys realize we don't learn anything in our successes. It's our failures where we learn. And if we don't let our kids fail, they're never going to learn those lessons they need, and they're going to become adults, and they're going to be paralyzed with fear because they're not going to know what to do. I've never failed before. I've always had people clapping for me. They've always told me I was the greatest. And now I didn't get this job, and I thought I was going to be a model because I got on Instagram and I was an influencer. I put hashtag influencer, and now nobody wants to see anything with me on it. What am I going to do? Yeah. Influencers are the people for the older crowd. They get on there and you buy the stuff that they put because they influence people to get it. So I use the merch and influencer. You guys have learned 2 new words today, okay? Congratulations, kids. You graduated kindergarten. How was the glue? Did you prefer Elmer's? Okay. Yeah, now they're paralyzed with fear because they don't know what to do. An entire generation. Third reason that we feel inadequate. Unwise comparisons. We look at others and think, I'm not like them. I'm not that attractive. I'm not as bright. I don't have as much money. I don't have as much influence. It's not fair, okay? We tend to compare other people's highlight reels with our behind the scenes. And well, what do you mean by that? Those Instagram pictures, those Facebook pictures, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever else you post a picture on, how many filters did you put that picture through? How long did it take you to get everybody standing there smiling to where like you wanted to kill each other 5 seconds before that picture snapped, and you're probably going to kill each other after it, but everybody in the world sees everybody lined up and they're smiling and like they love each other. And then you look at that and you go, oh my gosh, why can't I have a perfect family like that? Because all you see is the highlight reel, which is that picture. You don't see the behind the scenes. You see your behind the scenes, and you compare that with that picture, and you're thinking, I failed. Anybody ever seen somebody else's picture on social media that, man, I failed as a mother. I failed as a father. I failed as a grandparent because, look, their life is perfect. And I know mine's full of chaos. Anybody ever feel that? Let's look at some scripture. We're in church. Let's look at the Bible for a minute. What do you guys say? Yeah? Judges chapter 6. The angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak tree at Orpah. Now this is not Orpah Winfrey. This is not her sister. Okay? That belonged to Joash, one of the Abzerite people. Gideon, Joash's son, was separating some wheat from the chaff in a winepress to keep the wheat from the Midianites. Hold up right here for a second, Brandon. This is what he was doing. When you would separate the wheat from the chaff, what you would want to do is you want to be out in the open with the wind, and you would wave that chaff so that all the stuff that you didn't want would fly off. He's in the ground, in a hole, hiding, in a wine press, shaking it. He's a chicken. Okay? He's being a pansy. He's hiding because he's scared. Verse 12. The angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon and said, the Lord is with you, mighty warrior. I was like, hey, bro, I think you got the wrong address. Yeah, I don't think you were talking about me. Then Gideon said, sir, if the Lord is with us, why are we having so much trouble? Where are the miracles our ancestors told us he did when the Lord brought them out of Egypt? But now he has left us, and he has handed us over to the Midianites. Woe is me. Woe is me. Why can't I be like them? The Lord turned to Gideon and said, go with your strength and save Israel from the Midianites. I am the one who is sending you. But Gideon answered, Lord, how can I save Israel? Talk about comparison. Here we go. My family group is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least important member of my family. There's so many people better than me. God, I'm so lonely. I could cry. I got tears in my beers and all this other stuff that's going on, right? Verse 16. The Lord answered him, I will be with you. It will seem as if the Midianites you are fighting are only one man. See, Gideon got into the trap. He started comparing. I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not bold enough. I'm the least. How am I going to save Israel? How am I going to save my family? I don't know what to do. This is my firstborn. I've never been through this before. This is my secondborn. I screwed it up with my firstborn. How am I going to do it now? Right? What am I going to do? Okay? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to lay down our ego at the altar of God because we are not who we think we are. We are who God says we are. We are who God says we are. Gideon wasn't the weakest of his clan like he thought. He was a mighty warrior like God said. And that's what we need to realize. We're not who we think we are. We are who God says we are. Now, here's 3 quick things that we can learn from the story of Gideon. Number 1, God's view of you is different than you think of you. Let that sink in for a minute. Yeah, but I failed. I've messed up. You know, can I be honest? You want to know something? Some baggage I carried around for a long time. And I'm not going to lie and tell you that it doesn't rear its ugly head every once in a while. I had a failed marriage. I got people coming to me and say, hey, what do you think I should do with my marriage? Why would you ask me? Mine failed. Mine messed up. I'm divorced. Not yet. Right? And there's times that I sit there and I think, why would you ask me that? I've got that failed marriage. I've got one of my kids hated my guts for a while. And you know what? Honestly, I probably gave him plenty of good reason. How many of you guys have messed up with your kids? Yeah. Now, parents, did any of your kids come with owner's manuals? No, you just got to kind of figure it out. You mess up, right? Yeah. Messed up. God says, hey, you're not who you think you are. You're not a failed parent. You're not a failed husband. You are who I say you are. Thank God he's reconciled so much of that. Okay? Thank God he has reconciled my relationship with my kids and with some family members. I'm not the failed relationship person I thought I was. Who God says I am. Ephesians 2:10. God made us what we are. Somebody needs to hear that. God made you what you are. You're not trash. You're not a mistake. You're not messed up. You are who God says you are. And maybe it's not somebody here. Maybe it's somebody who's watching online. I forgot to mention you guys earlier. I apologize. But maybe somebody needs to hear that. You are who God says you are. In Christ Jesus, God made us to do good works, which God planned in advance for us to do, for us to live our lives doing. That's what we're here for. Now, just real quick, we're not saved by good works. We're saved by the blood of Jesus Christ from the cross. But once that happens, we're saved to go out and to win the lost. And we do that through good works. Hey, it's good to feed the hungry. It's good to clothe those that don't have anything. It's good to provide for things, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to be the hand of Christ extended. That's who God made each one of us to be. Okay? Number 2. You have everything you need to do everything God wants you to do. So everything that God tells you to do, he's giving you. He's giving you. It's like, well, I don't know if I can go to Africa. Well, maybe he didn't tell you to do that. Maybe he just told you to go across the street. Maybe he just says, hey, there's a family member that you need to talk to. You're equipped to do that. You are equipped to do what God has sent you to do. Maybe he's just saying, just love your kids. He said, but you don't know my kids. I want to kill my kids. Yeah, I know. Been there. I used to have 4 kids. I took one out. No, I'm kidding. I'm playing. I'm just kidding, but don't worry. She got all stressed out like, oh, am I next? No. But everything he's called you to do, he's equipped you to do. God doesn't send you to a gunfight with a knife, all right? He gives you the tools that you need. Look at 2 Peter 1:3. Jesus has the power of God by which he has given us everything we need to live and serve God. We have these things because we know him, and Jesus called us by his glory and goodness. We've got it. We've got it. What's God called you to do? Say, well, I don't know. I think you should ask. God, what did you call me to do? Whatever it is, he's giving you to do that, okay? Don't you dare believe what others have said about you. Don't you do it. Don't you dare listen. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not tall enough. You're too this, you're too that, you're not that. Don't you dare listen to that. Got it? You listen to what God's told you you are, okay? Because God's view is different than what you think. Okay? God's view is different. Number 3. It's less about you than you think. This is not a Toby Keith song. I'm not going to sing it. I promise. Rob, don't turn the radio off. Okay? But it's not all about you, okay? When God calls you to do something, it's more about the presence of God than it is about you. It's more about the presence of God than it is about our power. Look, I'm nothing. I'm a vessel. You guys understand? When I go out and I water the grass with a water hose, does the water come from the hose? Everybody shake your head like this. Okay. No. Where's the water come from? It comes from the spout. I'm just the hose. I'm just bringing the message, right? It's not under my power. It's not me. It's God. It's God. And so we have to remember that. We can't forget that, okay? We will step into His grace and His power, His calling, and His strength. But we have to remember, we are not who others say we are. We're who God says we are. We have to remember who it's about, and it's about Him. Okay? I want to challenge you. Lay down your inadequacies, that's all. Your inadequacies. I'm going to say this word flawlessly before we get done here. I promise. If we have to stay here till 3 o'clock today, I'm kidding. I'm fine. We have to lay down our inadequacies on the altar. We have to. You will never be what God's called you to be if you continue with that attitude of inadequacy. Okay? So I'm going to challenge you to kneel down and to sacrifice that inadequacy on the altar. Sacrifice it. It's gone. Okay? Think to yourself, please don't say it out loud, but just think to yourself, what is your inadequacy? What is it that you struggle with? Is it not measuring up? You don't make enough money? Is it you don't live in the right neighborhood? You don't drive the right car? You don't have the right husband or wife? Don't tell anybody else that, please. Because I'm telling you right now, you better learn to live with it, okay?
I do.
What is it? What is your inadequacy? We all have them. I'm telling you, it's time to kneel down and sacrifice that inadequacy before God. And then when you stand up and be who God's called you to be. Can we do that? Can you stand up and be who God's called you to be? We get everybody to bow your heads and close your eyes for me. Here's the thing about our enemy. His strategy has never changed. He will keep using the same thing over and over and over again. It never changes. So whatever he can use to make you feel inadequate, he will keep using it. So, how many of you will be honest today and say, you know what, I got some stuff in my ego. I got some stuff that keeps bouncing around in my head that keeps kicking my tail. And I need to lay it on the altar. How many of you just say that? Raise your hand straight up, back down. Thank you. Yeah. Just about as many as I thought, almost everybody. I think if we're honest with ourselves, we can pretty much all of us say, yeah, I got stuff that I need to get rid of. And I'm gonna pray for you that God will help you get rid of that. All right? How many of you would say, before we close this out today, how many of you say, you know what? I need to make that commitment to Jesus. I've never made it, or I've just kind of stepped away from it. How many of you would just uplift the hand straight up and straight down and say, yeah, that's me. Yeah, thank you. Yes. Thank you. Would you guys do something with me? Just real quick, just repeat this prayer after me, because I don't want anybody to leave here and not feel like you're walking with Jesus in the family of God, all right? So I want everybody to repeat it so nobody feels singled out, okay? Say, Jesus, I know I've sinned, and I'm sorry. Please forgive me. In Jesus' name. Amen. And that's simple. And it's not the reciting of those words. It's did you feel it here? Did you believe it here in your heart? Yeah, that's what you're looking for. Whether you raised your hand or not, if you said that and you felt that you believed it, guys, you are a member of the family of God, and we're so glad you're here. All right? So I'm going to do something just a little bit different today. I'm going to say a prayer of dismissal. And I feel like that there's somebody, or one or two, maybe 20, I don't know. Somebody say, hey, I just need somebody to agree with me in some prayer. I'm going to stay up here for a few minutes. If anybody walks up and you say, hey, I just need prayer, come on up. If it's not you, it's okay. If nobody comes up here, my feelings aren't going to be hurt. All right? Are we good? So I'm gonna pray for you guys. I'm gonna pray a prayer of dismissal, and I'm just gonna hang out for a minute. And if you feel like, hey, I need prayer, I need somebody to agree with me, so that I can take these battles and I can lay them on the altar. So I'm gonna be up here for a few minutes. All right, Father, we thank you for each and every person here. So God, as we battle these feelings of inadequacy, God, that we don't measure up, God, you have equipped us for everything that we need to do. God, we are who you say we are. God, we love you and we thank you. And I can't wait to see what happens here next week. God, as we dismiss, I pray that you go with each and every person here. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Guys, more than ever before, the best is yet to come.